Hello everybody and welcome to a vlog. We like to do these every now and then just to kind of let you guys know exactly what's going on the channel and stuff like that and what to expect, but this one specifically is going to be revolving around the Star Wars stuff because, you know, of the recent video I put up that we were disappointed with the 2014 roadmap that the producers put up. Kind of, you know, showing all of the different stuff in the game. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about live streaming, YouTube stuff for you guys to know that you didn't know about YouTube. That will actually really help, you know, with all of your subscriptions, not just ours. So that will be nice. We'll also talk about other content, other MMOs coming out soon. And that's pretty much the summary of everything. I've got like a huge list of stuff that I'm going to go over. But the first thing is the footage in the background is PlanetSide 2, just so you guys have something to watch. This happens to be the game that I've been playing a lot of recently. For a few reasons, the new performance updates make a big difference to a ton of people, so you see a lot of new players in. The other thing is I switched from kind of playing with just a few people to playing with Nightmare Battalion on the Matherson server, and Nightmare's a really sweet outfit. There's a lot of really cool people there. You can sign up if you play on Matherson, that is. You could sign up at ntmrgaming.com, and you just basically register for their website and all that, and then you'll get an invite when you get into the game. It's actually pretty easy, but it's a lot of fun playing with them. You know, PlanetSide is one of those games that the more people you have playing with, the better it is. And when you're playing with an organized platoon, it's just that much better. So if you're interested in playing, and you don't play PlanetSide currently, and you want to play with me and all of the other Nightmare guys, you can sign up in the link in the description below this video. Boom, real easy. And if you sign up with that link, I get helped out with a few extra things like free camo and stuff like that. So it helps me out. It supports, you know, the channel in a weird way, and it also allows you to, you know, play the game as well. So it's a free game, easy to download. Anyways, moving on, because that's enough of PlanetSide, even though I freaking love the game. Star Wars. So here's my explanation of what's going on and the feelings that we have and everything, and we're also going to address some issues that came up in that producer's video. So the first thing is we aren't burnt out on the game. You know, our players, our raiders aren't burnt out on the game. We like the game. We love the game. The game has gotten better with each expansion, and there's 2 more on the way. The problem is that we are burnt out with the current raid content. So there's a distinction there. You know, we still love the game. We just don't like where raiding is at right now because we've been doing it forever, right? We've been raiding the same content, Dread Palace, Dread Fortress, for almost 5 months, about 5 months. I mean, we've been on it since September when it was on the PTS. It came out at the beginning of October. So there you go. I mean, we had a lot of attendance issues with trying to find people that we wanted to be in the raid and people that fit well with our group. So we were set behind quite a bit, and we didn't finish the content as quickly as other people did. I mean, other people finished it within that first month. So imagine how they're getting on. Like, we just finished it, you know, December-ish. We finally got to the end of everything after taking our Christmas break that we usually take. And imagine all the people that have been playing for a very, you know, long time in there and have been clearing it. They've been done with it for about 4 months, and they don't have anything that they want to do in there anymore because all of their ults are geared out, you know? So we really need new content, not just nightmare modes, which is what they're going to be releasing here shortly, especially at the end of this month. They'll be putting it on the PTS, the nightmare mode for Dread Palace, or Dread Fortress, either. Like, we don't want nightmare modes. We don't want to be in this content any longer. We want new content, and that is why we were burnt out on it. And in the producer's update, it's going to be at least 8 months until we get new content. Not 8 months from now, but 8 months total that we've been playing this content until we get new stuff. And that is way too long. That is probably the longest I've seen it in an MMO in a very, very long time. And I come from the old school WoW days where I was raiding MC for a while before Blackwing Lair came out. And then when Blackwing Lair came out, we were raiding that until Encourage, and then Encourage until Naxxramas. Like, we had pretty long gaps there, but the content was significantly difficult that we were running it for some time, and you have 40 people, so you were gearing out a lot of people back then. That being said, 8 months is way too long nowadays. New content should be about 5 to 6 months, which is about the time that it takes for most people to clear content and to get burnt out on it. I mean, if we were clearing it the first month, if we had like a really solid group together, this would have been an issue that came up like last month or December. We would have been like, look, we don't want to really play this anymore because this is really dumb. Now, one of the concerns I got on that producer's video was a lot of people saying like, oh, boo-hoo, PvPers haven't gotten any new stuff for, even longer than that. To which I would say, yes, you haven't. It's a travesty that you haven't done that. And we are on the same page here. Both of us, both PvEers and PvPers, haven't gotten new content in a while. Don't gain up on each other. Come together as a group and really present this to Byron and be like, look, you guys have an issue with putting new content out. It's taking way too long. Between the two of us, we haven't gotten anything new in a very long time, and both of us are being burnt out. I mean, we got Galactic Starfighter, but that doesn't really give the needs of the people that are there doing regular PvP and regular PvE. Galactic Starfighter is a nice distraction, but it's not necessarily the content that we actually want to do on a regular basis. For some people it is, but for most of us it isn't. So we're not against you, PvPers. We're dealing with the same fundamental issue with their development cycle, which is that they can't keep up with new stuff. They've proven over the past 2 years that it takes them a very long time to make new content. Now, they've put new raid content out a lot quicker, and it's been very good raid content, so I don't see why they're not doing that now. But I can't speak specifically for PvPers and say, like, there's new stuff coming up, because I don't PvP. I don't know about PvP stuff. But what I can say is that we're on the same team here. We need to figure out why it takes them so long to put new content out. And a lot of that is stuff that we probably have no idea about. How long it takes them to do the voice acting, bringing in the voice actors, getting all that done, putting it in the game, programming that, giving you the different choices, writing the story. I mean, even down to just building the levels. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this kind of thing, but they need to come up with a quicker way. There can't be an excuse anymore saying, oh, well, we have a lot of voice acting, so it's going to take us a long time, or we have other things we're working on, so it's going to take us a long time. They need to figure this out. It can't be this way anymore. So for PvE specifically, what they need to do, in my opinion, is they need to release, if they're going to put new content out for Ops and Flashpoints even, but specifically for Operations, they need to release Story Mode, Hard Mode, Nightmare all at the same time. Boom, put it out there. Because that will actually, ironically, extend the life of the operation for at least another month. Because it'll take about an extra month or two for people to clear all of that content, which is fine. That's okay, because it will feel like we're getting fresh stuff, because we're actually not farming hard mode for 4 months and then getting into nightmare mode. We farm hard mode till we can get the content clear enough to get into nightmare mode and have the gear to clear that out. And yeah, it ironically extends the lifetime of that. So here's what they need to do for Ops. They either need to release all three at the same time, or they need to remove Nightmare in general. If they can't do it right, then don't do it. You can't release Nightmare 3-4 months down the line and be like, new content, because it's not new content. It's the same stuff. It's ridiculous. You can't expect us to be stupid and think that's the same content. No, we need a new raid. We need a fresh face. We need new bosses. We need new mechanics. Or even rehashed mechanics from old bosses, a year ago. That's fine, whatever. As long as it's a new boss and new stuff to do, I'm fine with that. So what maybe they could do to help this out is have less story-focused stuff in Operations. We don't need a ton of voice acting. We see it once and then we spacebar through it. We don't care, right? You can pull back the story stuff a bit on it in order to help with the development cycle. Also, one thing that you can do is that they could bring back the development of the multiple things in the game. You don't have to have millions of things you're working on. You got Galactic Starfighter, you have PvP, you have on-rails space combat, you have the operations and stuff like that. You don't need to be doing that many things in the game because it's holding you back on the other things that you're already doing. Instead, what you need to be doing is doing less things and doing them better, right? So imagine you're only doing Ops, Galactic Starfighter, Flashpoints, and PvP. Imagine that was all that you were doing. Suddenly you fix a lot of things because you're working on a whole lot less content, and you could focus on getting that stuff out quicker. I don't know how that would look. I'm not a game developer. I'm not a producer. I'm not any of those kind of things. All I know is this is an issue and it needs to be fixed. I'm tired of listening to excuses from developers saying like, oh, that can't be done. It takes too long. Da 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 da. There's a lot of stuff you don't know about in development, and that's true. I don't know a lot about stuff in development, but there is an issue here and it needs to be fixed. Period. So with that being said, what we do when we get in the game is we raid. That's why we play the game. We like raiding. That's all we like to do. I like leveling characters because the story's pretty good, but they've already said that they're not going to work on story-specific or class-specific stories anymore, so there's no point in me ever hoping for that. And honestly, the only reason I would raid only reason I play outside of that is to raid. Like the Flashpoint, I've done co-op drive yards once since it got released. There's no reason for me to do it. I don't care about it. The Rackle event was a lot of fun, and it was a pretty cool distraction. That's coming back soon, so I really enjoyed that, but you know, outside of those two things, probably not a lot of reason for me to be on. If you've looked for me online, you probably realize this. I'm not on the game a lot. We played a raid, and if we aren't raiding, if we're not finding enjoyment in the raiding, we're going to find a new place to do it. That's going to give us more raiding, to give us better raiding, to give us more fun raids. That's what we do. And as a team, we are going to be leaving Star Wars. That is our decision that we've made. It's not going to happen suddenly. It's not going to happen this week. It's not going to happen a month from now, but it will be happening. So unless they randomly announce like in the next month, like, hey, we're changing the way we're doing raid content and it's going to come out a lot quicker, then we're gone. We've already made our decision. So what does this mean for Star Wars content specifically on the channel? Well, it means that it's going to start coming a lot slower for the time being, because I'll be honest, I have one foot out the door. At this point, I don't really care about new content coming out unless it's new raid stuff. And I'll continue doing PTS stuff because we're going to continue raiding for a little bit. We're down to one night a week. We're not really, focused on it anymore. We're going to do the Nightmare stuff for a while, but chances are you'll see a lot less Star Wars content. But it does mean that there will be the Warrior series still. I still plan on doing that. That'll be coming out in the next month. So you should expect to see that. That will continue for a few months. So, you'll have some Star Wars content there from me. This also means that there will not be a Bounty Hunter series unless something drastic changes. That's my plan, is to not have a Bounty Hunter series, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to do that one. And once we're gone, once we're out of the game, which is going to be a few months at the very least, then the Star Wars content on the channel is going to be pulled back drastically. You won't see any, or, if you do, it'll be, limited Star Wars content. So it won't be this weekly stuff that we've been putting out. So it'll be very minimal, but I'll keep an eye on the game to see if there's any interesting stuff coming out. And we won't be, as I said, we won't be completely gone for some time. It'll be at least a few months. So expect it to trickle out, but not just to suddenly stop as far as Star Wars content is concerned. You'll still have some stuff there. But the question that we keep getting is, where will we be going? Because we're looking for a new MMO, so what's our new home? Our current goal is to move to EverQuest Next. There's just so many things about that game that are drawing us to it, and it just looks brilliant. It looks so good, and I've watched a lot of things on it. And I'm not talking about Landmark, which is their second game that they have there. I'm talking about EverQuest Next, the MMO coming out at the end of the year. Hopefully at the end of the year. At least that's what they've been pushing for. So the reason we're looking into EverQuest Next is because it's going to change the way that everybody views MMOs. It's going to change the playing field. And it's not like one of those games recently, like Guild Wars 2, where it's like, we're going to change everything. The game is going to be so different. But in reality, it's the exact same game we've seen for the past 10 years. EverQuest is actually going to be changing everything. And if you watch anything on it, you'll see how different it's going to be. It's more of a sandbox than it is anything else. There's things called rallying calls, which basically, it's an in-game event that happens, but it's a consistent thing. It's not like it happens once a month or once every few months. It's one thing that is constantly ongoing, and the example they gave at SWE Live last year was, you have a city that you're going to be founding. You found the city, and then something is going to trigger the next part of the event where maybe you build walls for the city, or you go out and you clear the forests around the city, and then the next thing that happens is, you know, the city is a lot bigger that you've built, that you've helped build with NPCs and stuff, and then you start mining, you start doing a quarry because you want to upgrade the walls to stone walls. Well, then those, you know, the quarry going down starts unlocking really nasty creatures out of the depths of the planet. And then it's, you know, you've actually harassed a lot of goblins nearby, and they've set up an army, and now they're sieging the city, and then you have to go and stop the siege. Or maybe you can't stop the siege and the city gets sacked, and then, you know, all these other things happen. Well, this is an event that is ongoing in the game, and nothing will be the same ever. Right? So when you play an event like that, that event is never going to come back in the same way. If you're leveling a character in the game, you're never going to get the same leveling experience twice. You're going to have different things that happen. And the reason why is because players make permanent change within the world, and the world reacts. I would highly suggest going and watching the debut panel that they did at SWE Live last year. It explains a lot of this, but it's going to be a really sick game. And who better to go to than the people who basically invented raiding to begin with? They have 15 years of experience. They know what they're doing. The Forge Light engine I know is great because I've been playing it with PlanetSide 2. Just everything about the game is really, really sweet. And Smedley, who is basically the COO of SOE, has basically said that he thinks that content-driven MMOs are unsustainable. Star Wars is a content-driven MMO. Warcraft is a content-driven MMO, which means that, you know, they give expansions, they give patches, they give all this stuff to bring new content to you. But he thinks that it's unsustainable as a market, and I totally agree with that. And they want to go with more of a sandbox style, kind of free flow, some procedurally generated stuff, but most importantly, player-generated content. So player-generated dungeons, buildings, raids, stuff like that, which then gives you infinite content. The developers can focus more on those rallying calls, more new stuff for the game, rather than giving content to the players because their content is naturally forming, which I think is a lot better idea. So that's the game that we're going to be going to. At least that's the current plan. Then you have WildStar, which I'm going to have to play around a bit to kind of test it out, which I'll be able to try this weekend. So I'll let you guys know if that's even on our radar, but it looks really fun. So I'm interested in it. Elder Scrolls Online is totally not an option. None of the people in our guild actually like it from what we've played. We really don't like it at all. We think it's bland and kind of retarded and in a really weird middle ground between Elder Scrolls and MMO. It's not fun for us, so that's not even an option. We're not even going to be purchasing it. So what does this mean for future content on the channel? Well, it probably means you're going to see some Elder Scrolls Online videos. You're going to see some WildStar videos. You're going to see a lot of EverQuest and EverQuest Next Landmark. So you'll be seeing a lot of videos containing those games, which is going to be fun. And I mean, it'll give you guys fresh content to look at. It'll also give you guys an idea of what those MMOs will be doing in the future. So some cool stuff on that front. But it means that we're going to be taking our focus off of a single game for quite a while. You know, like our focus has been on Star Wars for some time. We have other content on the channel, but our focus will be coming off of that. It also means that if you're into the Star Wars stuff and you really like watching it, the chances are that you will find something else on the channel that you really like watching. If you like watching the Star Wars stuff, you'll find something else on the channel that you like watching. You probably just haven't given any of it a chance yet because maybe you're not interested in Kerbal Space Program, or maybe you're not interested in Dragon Age, or maybe you're not interested in, you know, Starbound. But if you've ever actually sat down and tried to watch through those series, there's a lot of stuff there that people get really attracted to because it's fun, it's different, right? So I would highly suggest looking at the other stuff if you're really interested in the Star Wars stuff, because there's stuff on the channel for you specifically that I have made for the people who like Star Wars stuff. So check that out. Now, the other thing here is that SOE Live is happening in August. We are going to be at it, me and my web designer, who I live with. He's a good friend of mine. We're going to be there. Garrick is planning on trying to go, so is a few other people from the guild, including Six Pounder, who you probably know from the old Diablo series. But we're basically all going, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let us know if you're going to be there. We'll hook up and check out EverQuest Next, which is going to be obviously premiered there. There's going to have a lot of cool stuff. As soon as we get into beta for that, we'll be doing videos. I'm going to be getting the EverQuest Deus Ex Landmark Alpha and be doing some videos on that, which is glorified Minecraft, so it's perfect because we have a ton of people who ask for Minecraft on the channel, so that should be fun. Other channel content, well, we're going to continue our plans with the stuff we already have. You know, Kerbal's going to continue, Dragon Age is going to continue, all of this stuff is going to continue. You'll see The Walking Dead here in a few weeks when Garrett gets back from his ski trip, which he plans on doing, so that should be cool for everybody who wants to see Season 2 of The Walking Dead. We're gonna do DayZ. I was gonna start it at the same time I started Kerbal, but there's a lot of performance issues that we were having, so I'm just waiting for the updates to happen there, and it's gonna be more of a mini series, but it will be a DayZ series, so that should be fun. And there's a ton of other games coming out at the end of the year and throughout the year, so let us know what you guys want to see, and we'll take a look at it. Plus, all of those are gonna be a lot of fun. As far as live streaming goes, some of you may have noticed that we live streamed this past week, and that's because we are going to be doing a lot more. We used to do live streaming every Friday, but it was really hard to schedule something like that because I've gotten really busy over the past couple months, so it's going to be a lot more sporadic. It's going to be basically whenever I'm playing a game and I just have a chance to stream. Like if I'm playing F1 2013 or 2014, you know, which one I'm playing, because I love F1, and I'm sitting there and I'm playing and going, oh, you know what, I could stream this for a while because I'm just playing, I'm not recording or anything, may as well stream it. You know, then that's what I'll end up doing. This means that the streams themselves will be a lot more sporadic, they'll happen a lot more randomly, but ironically this means that a lot more live streams will be happening than before, but they'll just be a lot less predictable. So the easiest thing to kind of figure this out of when we'll be streaming, what time we'll be streaming, all of this, is to follow us on Twitch. It'll automatically email you when we go live, and to follow us on Twitter, because I'll start talking about it like an hour beforehand, like saying like, hey, I'm planning on streaming this at this time, and then you can, you know, get a heads up basically from that. So Twitter and Twitch are the two things that you'll want to follow for live streaming. That'll be the easiest way to know, and I'll always put up a video on the channel saying like, hey, we're live streaming now if you see this video. If you don't see this video, obviously we're not live streaming, that kind of thing. Our website is another point of discussion here. We've been having some issues with the theme, and it's been having issues doing some of the things that we want it to do, so we've been working on that, but it is still a good place to see when new uploads have gone up, because it automatically updates and says like, hey, this is a new video. And it's there on OSWnetwork.com, just a homepage for that. But this also leads me into talking about Trellis of the Eidolon. I've had a lot of people asking about it, and we'll have that back up at the end of the month, or by the end of the month, hopefully. We just have to find a solution on how to put it up there, because once again, the theme is giving us issues, and it's being very picky. So we'll figure out something for that. So by the end of the month, it should be back up on the website. So keep checking back there, and you'll find it for anyone who's been asking. Lastly, there's some YouTube features that were added within the past few months that are really nice. So this allows you to kind of know whenever a new video has gone up without really knowing, you know, without really checking YouTube that often. The first is when you go to youtube.com/OSWguild, which is our main channel page, and where it says subscribe or subscribed, if you already subscribed to us, you click on the little gear there next to it, and it'll pop up a window, and you can check show me updates. And what this will do is it'll basically push notification you, hopefully. I mean, this is kind of the idea here, is it'll push notification you if you have it on your phone, if you have YouTube on your phone or a tablet, and you're logged in, it'll send you a push notification saying like, hey, OSWguild has just uploaded this video and it is now live and you can watch it, basically. And it's kind of a cool way of seeing it. At least it's worked for me with quite a few different subscriptions that I have with people, so it's kind of a nice way to figure that out. Alternatively, you can, on the same channel page, you can click videos on the top tab, and it'll show you the newest uploaded, which is pretty cool. You can always figure out what videos have been uploaded in the past week by just going there. And then lastly, you can go to youtube.com/feed, that's FEED/subscriptions, and that will bring you to a subscriptions page on YouTube. This is the one that I actually have bookmarked for my main YouTube page, because then it shows chronologically what has been uploaded, you know, recently from people, so I can always see recent uploads. So in case you were ever missing stuff from us, that is a good way to check out new stuff coming up. However, I have dragged on for so freaking long talking about the channel and stuff, but hopefully that gives you guys a good update on what's going on, what our current plans are. If you have any questions, I'll answer them, especially concerning the Star Wars stuff. Once again, we don't hate that game, we just need new stuff to play. And EverQuest Next is really looking like it's going to be the game to give us the content that we need in order to keep us interested for long periods of time. Plus, it just looks like a really sexy game in general, so I'm excited for that. But with all of that being said, we shall see you guys next time.